Yo, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. As we get back into the swing of things here, I want to first and foremost say thank you guys so much for all of the support. You guys have been awesome on the live streams. We'll be back to live streaming normally on YouTube on February 9th. I am gearing up for a huge return, so all of you guys get ready for that. In the meantime, you can check out my streams on twitch.tv/PlayerEssence. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're talking about the Nintendo Switch sales. We're talking about Nintendo Switch Pro for 2020 rumors, because here's the thing, guys. Nintendo will soon announce that the Nintendo Switch is over 50 million units sold worldwide. Nintendo had a record-breaking fourth quarter or holiday season, I should more say like it, holiday season, not fourth quarter, but holiday season, where they sold so many Nintendo Switch systems and they had so many new games come to the system that they were breaking records across the board. So we're going to see that Nintendo has sold 50 million units plus. Now, this is unprecedented territory for Nintendo in a very long time. We can go in and put into comparison where this kind of stacks up. The sales of the Nintendo Switch are tracking right with the PlayStation 4 or even slightly above it in some circumstances with launches aligned. This goes back to the Nintendo Wii in terms of things when it comes to how well they've sold. Think about this, guys. The NES, which is Nintendo's highest selling traditional console, not anything crazy like, for example, the Wii. That's Nintendo's normally highest selling console of all time, but of course you had the whole gimmick with what they were doing, which is fine, by the way, gimmick in a good way, which is fine because they sold a lot of systems. But their last traditional system that was just kind of for the core gamers out there, that was the NES. That was the highest selling one. Think about it. The Nintendo Switch is 10 million units away or so from catching what the NES did back then, when it revolutionized the gaming industry and pretty much started the modern gaming industry kind of as we saw it throughout the console wars, the 90s, the early 2000s, and all of that. So it's great to see. It's great to see Nintendo have that success. But with all of the success that they're having, that gives them opportunities. 50 million units plus that we're going to see here. By the end of the year, if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, we're going to see it maybe even hit 70 million units or so by the end of the year, or we could be hearing about that early next year. So things are looking up for Nintendo, and when things look up this much, and you have, of course, competition coming out as well, I think Nintendo can afford to take some chances. People have been talking about rumors when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, and when it comes to what they're going to do with the next iteration of the system. Is there going to be a Switch Pro in 2020? And that is the big type of discussion point here. And that's kind of what I want to focus on now that I'm back in my normal studio here, kind of just doing everything. So let's talk about it a little bit. Now, Nintendo Switch Pro rumors have been going on for quite some time now. I think we've had it since, I think, last year or even before then. We've had people talk about it as well, YouTubers, but we've had other websites and people talk about they're going to be like a cheaper model, which ended up being the Nintendo Switch Lite, and also a higher powered model, which people are speculating on the range of what that can be. Now, I've been in the camp of course we can see something more higher powered, but I don't know if it's going to be this huge powerhouse system that some people are saying it's going to be. However, I will say this, with Nintendo selling 50 million units plus, with Nintendo being in a different type of atmosphere that we've ever seen them be before, right? The traditional handheld system and home console is pretty much dead at this point. They have a conjointed system. They have a real, true hybrid going on. So could Nintendo say, you know what, we're going to differentiate the market from within on their own Nintendo Switch system and let them play the same games? Absolutely. They've already done so. Could they further the gap from what they've done before in the past? Absolutely. It's 100% possible that Nintendo brings out a more powerful Nintendo Switch system this year or even next year that is bigger than what we've seen before in the past. Because the only thing that we've even seen that is comparable to Nintendo doing something like that within the same generation is the new Nintendo 3DS. Or if you even want to go back, you can say like the Game Boy to the Game Boy Color. That was a huge thing. GBA Advanced SP, you added a backlight. These were big things back in the day. But the only thing that you can kind of compare it to is what they've done recently with the Nintendo DS. The DSi, for example, was more powerful, added a lot of new features, more RAM, stuff like that. And then if you look at the Nintendo 3DS, the new Nintendo 3DS, that was more powerful. It improved frame rates. There were some exclusive games on there. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that we see a new Nintendo Switch Pro that boosts the power quite a bit more than what people are thinking, and also maybe even has some exclusive games along with playing the regular Switch lineup. I think that if you're looking at 2020, 2021, all the companies are changing. Microsoft is changing, Sony is changing. Nintendo had a huge change from what they've done with the Wii era and the Wii U. So everyone is changing in certain ways, and I think that it'd be a little bit naive to just flat out write it off. Now, of course, my own thoughts on this, guys, is that Nintendo's probably going to do a modest power bump in 2020 if there is something. I still think that Nintendo has a next generation Switch they're going to do that plays Switch games that can also play bigger and more powerful games. I think that's coming in the next couple of years. I think it's just a little bit too early because some people are already stating that, oh, we think this is going to be a huge jump and it's going to be able to play exclusive next-gen games that are coming to the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox. But what we've seen from Microsoft is they're already saying, well, we're not going to have any true Xbox One X exclusives because there's really kind of no point in doing that, right? We want to have people just go on our ecosystem. So if games are still being made for the Xbox One or still being able to run on there, I don't really see any reason why you couldn't do or continue that on the Nintendo Switch. We've even had developers come out and say, yeah, people are still going to make games on the Nintendo Switch despite bigger or more powerful systems coming out, because the way that this, in terms of the market, has changed. It's not like restarting all over again with game engines, with everything. Everything is just scalable now. Before it was like, oh, well, you have to restart over. It's a whole new engine. It's a whole new thing. Now it's just like, oh, well, it's like settings on a computer. You have to optimize for the platform that you're on. Look at that. There's no Unreal Engine 5, right, guys? It's not like they're saying, oh, Unreal Engine 5 is coming with this new generation and you're going to get new tech. All they're saying is like ray tracing and stuff like that that barely even matters when it comes to the game, because they're still going to use Unreal Engine 4. You're still going to be able to have low settings and super high settings based on PC or based on different systems and what they're trying to do. So nothing's really going to change on that front outside of having access to higher resolutions, more pixels, and better frame rates. So I still think that there is that opportunity for, of course, Nintendo to expand into that and kind of get better frame rates with a more powerful system and all that. I'm just not sure if it's going to be this big bad system that some people are trying to make it out to be. So I'm interested and I'm excited to see what the future holds for Nintendo. I think that 50 million units plus, with the amount of money that they're making, if you look at everything with the Nintendo Switch Online, if you look at what they're doing with the software sales, the eShop, the amount of games and money that's coming through with Nintendo, they definitely have the flexibility and they have the position with so many units sold to take some chances and have a big new system and kind of make a little bit of a splash and say, hey, this is just for the enthusiasts out there. If you still want to play your regular Switch games, we'll provide that for you. If you want to play bigger and better games, we're going to have that a little bit for you. So I think that there's flexibility, they have the opportunity, and they're in the best position that they've been in heading into competitors launching in a very long time. I don't remember a time when Nintendo has been in this good of a position heading into what the opposition is doing, or what the competition is doing, I should say more like it, heading into that. Because if you look at the Wii U, obviously that was an interesting situation. If you look at the Wii, we didn't really know what we were going to get from that, considering how the GameCube did, right? And if you look at the N64, once again getting smacked, you know, by the PlayStation, heading into what the GameCube was doing. So it's been a while since Nintendo's been in this position when it comes to anything they've considered a home console. So I think that that allows them the flexibility to kind of try something new and do things different. They can kind of put one foot in and kind of see how things go. But if you look at it, I think fans are just thrilled that every single one of Nintendo's development teams are making Switch software. There is no more split. There are plenty of games. Heck, even if we don't get a lot of these big third-party games, which the Nintendo Switch doesn't get, pretty much just getting ports and stuff like that, a few original games from developers here and there, and of course a lot of Nintendo Switch first party, that is enough for most people, because that's still a lot of games. Nintendo produces a ton of first party games. You're gonna have a ton of indie support, so I think that that's okay. People have no problem buying a PlayStation 5 or buying a next Xbox or keeping their PS4 or going with the PC, people can play multiple different things here. And that's kind of how this market has shaped itself for this generation, with the Switch kind of coming in and dominating the way it's been dominating. So what do you guys think about all of this? I think it's a fascinating take on everything here when it comes down to what Nintendo could do. I think that Nintendo's in a great position to really lead and do very well, even with the next systems coming out. And I think it's a very exciting time for gamers out there when you see the amount of games that Nintendo was just pouring into the system that we've never seen before on one platform, at least, right? It's always been split between their home console and also their portable console, but it's just exciting to have that. But like I said, with the 50 million plus units going here, with the strong software that we're already going to start seeing pretty soon with Animal Crossing and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and more games coming, I think that this year is going to be a banner year for Nintendo, especially once we start getting the Nintendo Directs and other stuff like that, man. So I'm excited to see what comes next for the future. So what are you guys' thoughts on the Nintendo Switch when it comes to the sales? The reports are coming up pretty soon here, guys, so we'll get that at the end of January. And also, what's going on with potential Switch Pro and everything like that? I love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.